Welcome to John Essex Sports Channel Championship Week 11, and it's Part B. Well, we only got two results right yesterday. The scores were pretty amazing, weren't they? I mean, it was certainly ones that we didn't expect. I didn't expect Portsmouth, my local side, to actually get a goal. 2-1. They did really, really well yesterday, I think, Portsmouth. And if we look at just the other results, Sheffield United there getting a nice win, and I think this could be the turning point. I wasn't sure that the turning point would actually be now, because both of those sides had started to play a little bit better, but only a little bit. So that was a bit of a surprise. Derby County Norwich, not as much of a surprise. I think both of those sides have been a little bit tired of late. However, I think Derby, to me, would have got a good front line if it works. I mean, this occasion it did. Hull City, of course, beating Leicester City. I really did think that was either going to be a draw or Leicester City, but you know, both of those sides have capabilities of winning it. In this case, it was indeed Hull. What a surprise. Ipswich Charlton. I mean, Ipswich 0, Charlton 3. And Charlton have been playing better away from home for some strange reason. And have said that before. 3-0 though, that is a remarkable result for them. Is this a changing point? Look where they are in the league there. And you suddenly see them, where are they? In 5th position. With Ipswich now in 13th, and you're thinking, what's happened to this table? Millwall Stoke, you know, I love some of the comments the Stoke City fans were saying that we might lose, but I think it's not going to be as easy a game as what for Millwall as what people think. I don't think it was as easy either. I think that Stoke made Millwall really have to work for this one, but they did, and 2-0 for them. Like I say, Portsmouth 1, Coventry 2. That was a really good result for Portsmouth. I think that they would have expected, with the goal fest that Coventry had been doing, it would have gone a lot worse than that, wouldn't they? Preston, Birmingham, that could have gone either way really, but I was thinking Preston might just be getting back to some form from like they did at the beginning of the season. Didn't quite work out. Bristol City, well, they worked their arses off, didn't they, in that game? I was watching that one on Sky Sports, and Bristol City 3, Southampton 1. Southampton never looked like getting anywhere near the net, let alone getting a goal. So let's see what we're going to go for today as we go through Part B. Swansea City versus QPR is first up. So first up, Swansea City. Win, lose, draw, win, lose, draw. Wow, this is a great 6, isn't it? We can see where things are going. And the teams that they've won, lost, drawn against. Nottingham Forest in the Carabao Cup. Okay, can't really... Well, that's a win, though, 3-2. Birmingham, Millwall, Blackburn, Leicester and Southampton. So you can see there's a nice eclectic mix of sides there. So nobody can say that they're playing, all easy sides or all good sides or all middle sides. These are a nice range. The last two, of course, lost 3-1 against Leicester City at home, and then they drew 0-0 against Southampton. So Southampton 0, Swansea 0. This was by far as far from a boring 0-0 as you could get. Southampton did their usual trick, which they didn't do last night, by the way, which is just hammer the goal with shots that just seem to get saved every time by Swansea, and they just seem to be not many blocked. It was literally 8 on target, 10 off target, and 3 or 4 sort of high and wide. 3 or 4 blocked, but it was just a side that was just firing, and a lot of the shots, I must say, weren't really strong. They weren't meant to go in the back of the net. They were just half-heartedly hit or tapped in the right direction. So they were classed as an on target, but they were never really going to be much of a trouble to Swansea. Swansea City, on the other hand, only 1 shot on target against Southampton's 8. Southampton would have been going away thinking, how on earth did we not get a win here? And of course, Southampton last night again lost against Bristol City, and they weren't. That game was totally different from this Swansea City game. So Swansea City have done well here. They made sure that Southampton just didn't get any of those many shots in the back of the net. Their defence did really well in just keeping them from being able to do a really strong shot at goal. QPR, win-win, draw, win, lose. Last time out, it was QPR 1, Millwall 2. This game, well, I was watching this one and I'm thinking, it's all QPR. All QPR. There's some great passing, some great dribbling work. Footwork was really good. However, I was just a little bit worried about this QPR side because 20 shots and only 3 on target. And 10 of them, half of those shots were blocked. So they weren't placing the ball, they were just hammering it at the goal. But it was, on the whole, the shots were at target and not sort of high and wide. They were either blocked or they were saved. So it was a good performance by QPR on the whole, and I think Millwall will be the ones here to go away thinking, we were really lucky to get a win here. We'd have been lucky to get a draw, but they managed to get a win with 5 shots, 5 of them on target, 2 in the net. I don't know how they did it, I really don't, but their clinicality, their precision in that final third was really good. So I think Millwall fans can be really proud there of a win against QPR. Again, QPR, they're going away thinking, how did we win it? Whereas again, Swansea at Southampton thinking, how did we draw it? Because Southampton had so many shots. So you're all saying Swansea QPR. It's a little bit difficult because what you've got here, of course, is QPR in 11th, Swansea in 14th. There's only 2 points between them, and we're really seeing 2-1 either way and 1-1s. People not really knowing what we're going to go for, and I must admit it's another one of those. Which team here is on the front foot? And I think QPR are slightly ahead for me. It could go 2-1 either way, really could. I'm going to go Swansea 1, QPR 2, and we'll go to the next game, which is Watford versus West Brom. Watford are in 16th. They've really had a bit of an up and down period. I saw the bit where they were playing really well and getting some really good results. And they're playing at a West Brom side in 9th. Who I think actually are playing a lot better than what I thought they would do. I really are. They're a lot higher than what I thought they would be. They're away against a side that is, like I say, up and down, can play some good football, can just not turn up. And West Brom, though, they've been doing the same. They've been sort of like playing really well and getting the run of the green, and then all of a sudden they don't get it for a couple of games. So Watford first, lose, win, draw, win, lose, all over the place. This league is so damn level. It's really hard to look at, is it, and work out who's going to win. And here, last game for Watford, Sheffield United 1, Watford 0. Watford kept the ball brilliantly. Their passing was absolutely stupendous. It was the best of the weekend. However, unfortunately, you guessed it, they kept it in their own half. They managed to do some really good breaks, though, so it wasn't all in their own half. Did some good breaks, managed to get 13 shots, but only 1 of them on target, which was really the killer here, because Sheffield United had 18 shots, just a few more. But they had 6 shots on target and 1 in the net. Sheffield United, again, would have been thinking, should we have got more than 1? Should we have got 2 or 3? Perhaps they should, but, this side, Watford, were playing some damn good football. And with 60% possession, they should have done more with it. But those shots were just I mean, there was only three or four blocks. So you can't say they were on target but bounced off, blocked on the line or whatever. This side was just firing high and wide. Against the West Brom side, which the last six are lose, draw, win, lose, win. Very, very much similar this, and we last game was West Brom 2, Preston 1. This was a 1-1 game. This was a 1-1 game. This was absolutely a 1-1. It was a good game. Absolutely brilliant game. I'm not even saying it was a boring game. It was a good game. It was about 50-50 in possession. They were both playing some good passing football. And some good tackles from both sides. It was a good game of trying to keep possession, keeping possession while they had it quite a decent amount of time. So both teams doing a very similar plan here to try and keep the ball and try and keep possession when they had it. 16 or 17 shots to both sides, 5 or 6 shots on target for both sides. It was a nailed on 1-1 draw, wasn't it? Absolutely. But West Brom managed to get ahead in this one, and just by making more of the shots. So what are you saying with that one? You're saying Watford versus West Brom. It's looking very, very much again down the middle. Everybody's saying sort of 2-1 either way, or 1-1 in the middle. In this case, I think we will go for the sitting on the fence. I'm afraid we're going to go Watford 1, West Brom 1, and we'll move on. And we move on to Wrexham versus Oxford, and of course Wrexham and Oxford. Wrexham in 19th, Oxford in 20th, just 1 point away from each other. Now you've got to look at this as far as the Championship are concerned. Oxford are just 3 points off the bottom, and Wrexham just 1 point above them are 6 points off of 10th place. So there's very little in this league, isn't there? Let's face it. And the two teams they've not really hit the ground here. Oxford have done some really good football, some really good games I've seen from Oxford. Wrexham, again, they seem to start with one or two really, really impressive games, but then they seem to just try and hold out for a draw a few too many times. And what does the table say on that count? 4 draws for Wrexham, 3 for Oxford, if there's not an awful lot in it. 4 draws for Wrexham, and 3 of those are in the last 4 games. So it just shows you that they seem to be on a little bit of a poor run where they're thinking, as long as we don't get beaten, we'll be able to at least stay in this league, which is a good point because the league is so damned level. So for Wrexham, win, draw, lose. Last time out, Stoke City 1, Wrexham 0. I really thought Wrexham might just nick one here because although they had probably a third or half of the amount of shots at target than Stoke did, because Stoke have been showing that they can score, then they were a little bit poor, and now they seem to be just showing to me that they can. They still got that ability to score. However, here 12 shots for Stoke City, 3 on target, 1 in the net. Almost 60% possession, so they should really have been doing a lot more with the ball. Both of these sides, when they kept the ball, were passing it around like mad. 533 passes to Stoke, 418 to Wrexham. Both of them were doing some pretty good passing. That actually, the Stokes figure is the best for that division on that weekend. So well done, Stoke City. And they got a win from it. Let's face it, they got a win from it. But was it the best performance? Well, it was the best passing performance and the best overall field performance. But they should have done more with it. And that's where that game was really let me down. Stoke City 1, Wrexham 0. And Wrexham, they would have been, although they weren't quite in it for shots, the rest of the stats showed the game, and they really should have come away with a draw there. So that's Wrexham, Oxford. What are we thinking for the Oxford side. Draw, win, lose, draw, lose, win. And you've got Derby County, Oxford 1, Derby County 0. This we all said was going to be one of those games that was going to be really important, didn't we? We were saying this could be the make or break season-wise. Whoever loses it could be in quite big trouble. However, the league is so level, 1 or 2 defeats sends you either down to the bottom, and 1 or 2 wins can send you straight back to the top half. So Oxford 1, Derby 0, and I think Oxford were probably, it's the same as the last game, but in this case, Oxford were the ones 19 shots. I mean, everything's the same. Possession was about right, and it was a bit of a ding-dong battle, one side then the other. The passing was okay. You had a pretty good mid-table performances by each side. Possession, dribbling, everything, keeping the ball absolutely spot on with each other. Oxford, 19 shots, but most of those were off target, way high. Whereas Derby County, 6 shots, but they were just 3 of those were blocked. 1 was on target, and 2 were off target. So you can see that they were just when they did get to shoot, it was a little bit too haphazard, and that's where they've got to try and do better, I think, next time. Oxford, though, a lot of shots, enough on target to be able to get probably a 2-0 win, really, but they got a 1-0 win. What are we thinking with Wrexham versus Oxford? A lot of people trying to think, well, Wrexham are really digging down for these draws. 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, those 3 last draws, and then that 1-0 defeat at Stoke City. I don't think this is going to be a very big scoring game, and neither do you. You're saying 0-0 or 1-0 either way, and I can't help but thinking you might be right. I might go 1-1 even, but I don't want to go 1-1. We've just had Watford 1, West Brom 1. We're not going to do that. I'm not going to sit on the fence. I'm going to go with... What am I going to go with? Wrexham 0, Oxford 1. I was going to go the other way, and it's that close, guys. It really is. We're going to go with Wrexham 0, Oxford 1. It's going to be a low scoring game. It should be, but we've been wrong so many times this season, haven't we? Sheffield Wednesday versus Borough. This is going to be an interesting one because Borough are in 2nd place, but they only got +7 goal differences, and Coventry have got +23, but they're firing like mad, aren't they? And Sheffield Wednesday at the bottom, 24th position, -13 goal difference. However, we have to say that they are doing better, aren't they? As far as letting goals in. Lose, win, draw, lose. Of course, they lost 5-0 last at home game was 5-0 defeat to Coventry City. The last game itself was Charlton. Charlton 2. And Wednesday 1, Horvath getting the red card on 90 plus 7 minutes. And I think that the problem here is that they haven't got any fit goalkeepers at all. And I know the feeling. My team had that last year or the year before, and it really is quite bad. Even especially when you've got an owner that won't and can't stump up the cash to get anybody in. So he's really got his hands tied behind his back anyway. So I don't know what they're going to do here. It's a Sheffield Wednesday team they lost 2-1, and I tell you what, it should have been a draw. This realistically speaking, Charlton at home should have been more technical. They were quite technical, but I tell you what, Sheffield Wednesday were equally as technical. In fact, if anything, Sheffield Wednesday's passing was a hell of a lot slicker than Charlton's, and Sheffield Wednesday were away from home. They play better away from home as well, Sheffield Wednesday, this season, obviously because of the turmoil off pitch, I should think. But it was a surprise defeat for me, this Sheffield Wednesday game, because you could see them during the game. They were playing really good football. And again, another game that went completely the opposite way to what the teams are playing in the actual match. Borough, draw, win, draw, lose, win. So in the last 6 games, they've only won 2 games. They've drawn 3 and lost 1. Lost 1 against Portsmouth last time, but 1. And that was a 1-0 away defeat. And Portsmouth were just starting to play a little bit better. And you know, it has followed through. Last night, 2-1 defeat to Coventry, and actually they played some great football in the second half. And again, that's 2 games where they played good in the second half. Ipswich Town, though, last time out for Borough. Borough 2, Ipswich 1. And for this one, we have to think about the passing. I think the passing was good, very good from both sides. You'd expect it from Borough. They're there for a reason. They're in that position in the league for a reason. Ipswich, down from the Premier League. They're going to have the skills. Look, we know they've got the passing ability because they're from the Premier League. So we expect them to be able to do that. Did they? Yes, they did. I think this was a game of just 2 very, very similar sides. 5 shots each on target, 15, 16, 17 shots at target. I'd say Borough's shooting was slightly more precise, slightly more shots there that were no, it's Ipswich's, isn't it? Yeah, I you know, looking at the game, I was thinking Borough's were slightly more precise, but actually, if you look at the stats, it does do the stats work. Tell me, like, subscribe, and tell me down below. Do you think the stats work in this game? Because Borough, when I looked at it, Borough looked like they got the more precise shooting, but when you look at the stats, it's actually Ipswich that had the most precise shots, and yeah, most of them, more than half of their shots were blocked. So was it just the fact that Borough came back and just put everybody behind the ball whenever they could? Because from what I saw of the game, it looked more Borough were more precise. But if you look at the stats, it says Ipswich were more precise. I'll go with what I thought I saw in that game, which was Borough being very, very precise. And we'll keep that in the back of our heads when we go to the Sheffield Wednesday Borough prediction. What are you saying? Well, you're saying that Borough are going to absolutely trounce Wednesday, but we've been saying that for a while, and then we said it against Birmingham, and Wednesday got a 2-2 draw. We said it against QPR, 2-2 draw. We said they get defeated against Portsmouth, and they won it 2-0. It's and Charlton. We were all saying 3 or 4-0, 3 or 4-1, sorry, and Charlton actually won it 2-1, and it was a very, very close game. Should have been a draw. So I'm not quite as convinced as you lot are that it's going to be a high-scoring game for Middlesbrough. I think that yes, Wednesday are at home. They don't play very well at home. The last home game, Coventry City 5-0 thumping, and the fact that the fans don't turn up as a mark of an objection to Chansiri. I totally agree with it, by the way, as well. I think that you have to stand up for your club, and you'd love your club that much, you will stand up for them, won't you? And it must be an absolute pain not to go to the game. But will it make a difference? Yes, I think it will. What will the scoreline be here? I'm just putting it off, aren't I? I'm putting this one up. I actually think that Borough should be winning this one 2 or 3-1. Should be winning this one 2 or 3-1. I'm just looking at the goals from Sheffield Wednesday and the goals from Middlesbrough. Not a great deal each. I'm actually going to go with I'm going to go with my joker. I'm going to go Sheffield Wednesday 1, Middlesbrough 1, and let's say thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video, and please do give me a like and give me a subscribe to try and keep me going. We're right on the edge here, guys. I do need your support, and hopefully you will just keep me going. Thank you. Like and subscribe to John Esser Sports Channel.